What's up everyone? Today I am giving you 15 things that I wish I knew sooner in Remnant 2. The idea is that for new players that are just starting the game, or even some experienced players, I'm hoping to have at least one tip here that you did not know about. Let me know in the video comments if I did that. Also let me know in the video comments of any tips that you have also. Before we get going, if you do enjoy this video today, please remember to give it a like and a share to support it, and subscribe for more content. I'd appreciate it. So when you first start playing Remnant 2, you're going to have to select an archetype. We have the medic class, we have the hunter, we have the challenger, we have the handler, and I've also got the gunslinger because I've unlocked it on my main game. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about which archetype you choose. When I started my first playthrough, I was solo, and the handler archetype was very good for this because of the dog that you get and the ability to revive you. I highly recommend that for solo play for starting out. But you can go any class that you want, and as you go on through your playthrough and you upgrade your archetype, you can see my handler here is level 10, you'll have the ability to unlock other archetypes and slot in secondary ones. Now, I've done a video on all these different archetypes and how to unlock them on the channel, as well as secret ones as well, so you can check out those videos later if you need them. On screen now, we can see that I've got the handler archetype selected as my primary. I can change that to whatever different class that I want, and on the right side is the secondary class as well. So these are all interchangeable. You can change these and level up different archetypes as you please once you get so far in the game. So the decision right at the start doesn't need to be too troublesome. Next up is sort of like a 3-in-1, and I want to discuss boss weapons. As you go through your Remnant 2 playthrough, you'll encounter many bosses at the end of worlds, at the end of dungeons, all sorts, and most world bosses will drop you an item that you can go and craft their weapon with. Return to Ward 13 regular, and the NPC you want to talk to is Ava. She is able to craft you any of these weapons that you get from the bosses. I have saved some boss weapons here, and you can see that they're a boss weapon because, like, on this twisted arbalist here, it's got a rare required material, which in this instance is twisted lazurite. That item would have dropped from a boss when I killed it, so when I come back here, I can use that item to craft their weapon. It also costs luminite crystal and scrap, and there's going to be loads of weapons that you can get like this. So while you go through your playthrough and you're killing bosses, be sure to check out Ava at Ward 13 to see what weapons are available. Not only this, but bosses have alternate rewards as well. There's going to be a lot of bosses where you can sway how the outcome is going to be, whether that's an action you perform during the quest, or a certain piece of dialogue that you do, or a certain item that you have available. There's going to be loads of different options you get as you face bosses, and they can alternate what rewards you get from them. So don't be afraid of replaying bosses because you're able to go down different paths as you play them and get even more rewards. And talking about replaying bosses, it's also a very good way to get these weapons upgraded. If we speak to this guy here next to Ava at Ward 13, he can upgrade your equipment. But as you get to the higher levels of a piece of equipment, it can get a little bit expensive with rarer materials needed. Another great way to level up boss weapons or items in Remnant 2 is to reacquire them. If you already hold the item that you collect, it's going to level it up if there's any leveling to do on it. So for bosses, just keep on rinsing and repeating the same boss, and in theory, you can have a maxed out boss weapon in no time. This brings us on nicely to our next topic, which is adventure mode. Every player that plays Remnant 2 is going through a different experience. There are 3 worlds in total that are entirely randomly generated, which means players can encounter the worlds at different moments. They're going to have different tasks that they need to do in those worlds. Each world has 2 main storylines associated to it, and there's tons of random dungeons that can spawn, different encounters that can spawn. I think you get the gist of it. It's quite randomly generated, and no playthrough is the same. With adventure mode, you are able to split away from your main campaign, leaving that untouched and safe while you go and explore other items that you may have missed. This will unlock after the first world that you complete in Remnant 2, and you'll be able to re-roll an adventure. Once you've completed the whole game, you'll have all 3 worlds available to re-roll. That's Enrude, Yeesha, and Lossum. Labyrinth and Root of the Earth are not included in this is because they are not randomly generated worlds, and they're the same for every player as you go through, and you'll be able to fast travel back to them and get what you miss through your main campaign if needed. So don't worry too much on your first playthrough of Remnant 2 as things you may be missing, because nothing is missable. With Adventure Mode, you can come back and get anything you miss and more later. Heading back a little bit now to where you may be starting Remnant 2, there's a very early in-game secret you're not going to want to miss. This game is full of secrets, so get used to trying to solve them, but this one's quite easy and very early on. So you see the world stone here at Ward 13. You go up the stairs next to it, you can head into this office here where you're going to find this locked chest, and if you interact with it, it's going to ask you for a number combination. This number combination can be found in your inventory and by inspecting your flashlight. If you just move the flashlight around, you'll notice that on the bottom is a number sketched into it. It's 0415. If we enter 0415 into this lock combination here, we're able to open the chest, and inside we're going to find a key. The key is called the cargo control key, and you want to head back outside past the firing range and keep going in this direction here. You'd have been here earlier, but you'd have went down there. Just stick to the right, go through this gate here. If this gate is not open yet for you, it's because you've not progressed far enough in the campaign. You really just got to progress a very little amount really until you found the world stone, but before that, that gate will be locked. Just follow this route all the way to the back and you're going to find a locked door which you need that key to open, and it's just here right at the back of the area. Just interact with the door, select the cargo key that you just found in that locked chest, and you're able to open this door up, and inside is your first secret weapon that you can find very early in the game, and it's a good one to start with. It's the MP60R. Which moves on nicely to my next tip of leveling up weapons. As I've just said, there's so many secrets in Remnant 2. You're going to be collecting all sorts. You've got boss weapons, you've got secret weapons, you've got armor, you've got amulets, you've got mutators. There's going to be all sorts of items that you're going to be collecting through your playthrough. And you just want to be very careful what you choose to upgrade. You can see on screen now all the different weapons I've got, and this is not even the most of it. There's so many more to add to this list, and if I chose to upgrade every single item, there would not be enough scrap in the game. You really want to play around with different items that you get to find out what is your favorite items to use. When you know you've got something good that suits your playstyle and suits your build, then focus on upgrading that. And also, if you speak to Dwell at Ward 13, not only can you buy mutators, but he can upgrade your mutators as well. So that's even more resource needed to get your build to the best it can be. Just make sure that you're only upgrading the items that you know you're going to use to save resources on more items that you know you're going to want to use. Don't be wasting resources on items that you're not going to use later on in the game. Next, I just want to include a tip about enemy scaling. Whether you're solo or in a group, the enemies are going to be scaled to how powerful you are. And you can see what the enemy scaling is and what their power level is whenever you are in game. If you look at the minimap here, that number in the top right corner of the minimap is what power level your enemies are. So mine are currently 13. The enemy scaling is based off a law of averages. If you head over to your character screen, you can see how it is worked out. It takes your level of your archetypes. You can see I've got 2 archetypes slotted at max level 10 there. And also the power of your weapons and any upgrades that you have done. And if you're playing in co-op, this will work out across all of the players. Now, it's highly recommended that you run your highest level equipment, because even if you don't have it equipped, those averages will still take into account your highest weapon. So for example, my Merciless at level 6 here is the best weapon that I have. If I was to switch this to a weapon that had no level or no upgrade done, the world difficulty or the enemy difficulty is still going to be scaled to as if I'm wearing the Merciless. So just keep that in mind when you're playing about with your build. I have a few general tips now just to help you through your playthrough, starting with the melee attack. Not a lot of people know, but there's 3 different melee attacks on Remnant 2. You can just hit the button for a quick attack, so you can just spam that and keep on hitting it. Or you can hold down the button for a charged melee attack. Every melee weapon has different charge attacks and different strike attacks to test them out. But one more attack that not a lot of people know about, if you dodge an attack, there's an additional charge attack there. For this dodge, you don't want to hold in any directional button. Just double tap the dodge button followed by an instant melee strike. And you'll either do a short charged attack or you can hold it in for a full charged attack. This could be very good information for people that are looking to create melee builds. As you play through Remnant 2, there may be sections or boss battles that you find difficult. Don't be afraid to fast travel back to World 13 and come and speak here to Mudtooth. He's an NPC in World 13 that will sell you consumables. They're not too expensive at 500 scrap each, and these consumables will last for an hour in-game. There's loads of different ones you can buy, but you can only take one at a time. Have a look through these consumables and see if it'll help you in the current situation that you're in. Come and buy it, consume it, and it should make things a little bit easier. As well as consumables to make things easier, you're also able to upgrade your Relic charge. If we speak to Wally at Ward 13, in his inventory you've got this item here which you can craft, and it'll give you an extra Relic charge. You can craft multiple of these. This will give you more survivability out on your adventures, but it does require a special material. That material is Simulacrum, and this is very rare. You'll normally only find one during every world instance that you do, or world quest that you do, and you can keep on farming them that way by just playing more worlds and more quests. I've got 7 here in total. It also requires Luminite Crystal and scrap to craft one of these. This Simulacrum, though, is also used to craft your weapons to real high levels, like level 10 or whatnot, so be careful what you use. And if you're really struggling to find a special resource, if you come and speak to Cass at Ward 13, she does also sell it. You can see the material here, but it will cost you 1500 scrap. Next, I want to discuss trait points, which are a big part of Remnant 2 and a big piece of making your build. Now, as you go through the game, you'll unlock many trait points up to a maximum of 60 that you can slot in manually. You'll have trait cards here where you slot them, and you'll be slotting these as you go through your playthrough. The problem is, as you carry on going, you're going to unlock more trait cards, and there might be different variations that you want to do as you unlock more of them. There is an item that you can buy which allows you to reset all of the trait points that you've allocated, and it's a must-have item. And again, we're going to Wally at Ward 13, and you want to purchase this item called the Orb of Undoing. It costs 3 Luminite Crystal and 2,500 scrap. Once purchased, you can find it in your inventory, and if you use the item, it will reset all of your spent trait points. You used to have to keep on buying this Orb of Undoing every single time you did this, but now this is a forever item. Once you bought it the once, this will stay in your inventory so you can just continually reset trait points as often as you want at no extra charge. Make sure you're doing this when you want to amend your builds. Talking about builds, next I just want to discuss the archetypes and how leveling up every archetype needs to be one of your primary objectives as you unlock them. You're going to want to unlock them all. You can see here I've currently got the Handler and Medic equipped as my 2 archetypes. They are both level 10. But if I click onto one of these, I've still got the Challenger, Gunslinger, and the Hunter archetypes there that I've got no level into. I'm going to want to get those maxed out as soon as possible. Not only this, but I've got more archetypes to add to this as I find more of the secret ones that will also need leveling up. And one of the main reasons for this, even if you're not going to use the archetype, is that it comes with its own trait card. So it's an archetype trait. The kinship one was for the Handler archetype, and the triage one was for my Medic archetype. These trait cards will automatically fill out as you level up that archetype. So as I got the Handler to 10, it filled out this card. As I got the Healer to 10, or the Medic to 10 rather, it filled out this card. Now, no matter what archetypes I have as my main and my secondary, they'll be taking advantage of both of these traits. And as you keep on getting more archetypes and unlocking more of their cards and filling those out with getting them to max level, it's going to further enhance your build. Now, what a lot of people don't know is how the XP is shared out. So if I was to go and put on 2 archetypes that I need to level up, so say the Gunslinger, and switch the Medic out here, I'll put the Challenger on. Both are at level 0, and when I'm taking on activities in the game now, the XP is going to be shared equally across the 2 different archetypes. This is probably not the best way to do it because I'm losing a lot of power by doing this and a lot of perks, which is going to make my gameplay harder and essentially longer to get leveled up. The best way to go about leveling up your different archetypes is to have one that is max level already. So I'm going to keep my Handler on, and then to select a different archetype here that you need to level up. So we'll keep it as Gunslinger. Now, when you have it like this, where you've got one maxed out archetype and one that needs leveling up, the one that needs leveling up is going to get 100% of the XP that is earned. It is not going to split to the one that is 10, which means you're going to level up that archetype much faster and still be powerful enough for the content still to be easy, hopefully. None of this can be done until you get your first archetype all the way to level 10 though. This is when you unlock the ability to equip a secondary archetype and also unlock extra archetypes. If you need any help whatsoever on how to unlock additional archetypes or the secret ones, I have covered videos on them. It's linked down below in the video description in my Remnant 2 playlist. Go and check it out. Next, I just want to touch on farming materials and the best way to do that. You're going to need materials, as you've already seen in this video, to upgrade items and things like that. So what's the best way to get a hold of these? Well, I'd say just complete the main campaign and then go on adventure mode and keep on re-rolling campaigns then to keep on completing all the stuff you haven't done. Because by doing this, you're also going to complete stuff you have done. And it's then that you're going to notice an increased amount of material gain because of the items you've already got. I've already discussed how when you reacquire an item, it's going to level things up for you. But not just that, if you reacquire an item that has no leveling system, say you pick up a ring that you already picked up on a previous playthrough of a dungeon, it's going to convert that ring into scrap. So it's still going to show you the item's still going to be there, but the game will notice you have it and you'll get scrap instead. So yeah, there's going to be those little XP farms maybe, or there's going to be those material farms that you can find. But if you're truly going to try and complete everything Remnant 2 has to offer and all of the secrets, you're going to want to explore instead. And you'll find enough resource this way to upgrade anything that you need to. Another top tip, and if you have the availability to do so, is to play co-op. Playing solo is great, but when you play co-op, it makes the game a little bit easier, I think. But on top of that, every single material that you earn between you and your co-op friends is shared. The only thing you don't share, in fact, is ammo. That's just for you if you pick that up. But if a partner picks up some scrap and then the other end of the map, you're also going to get that scrap. If I go into an area and I pick up like a artifact or I pick up a ring or something like that, my partner is also going to get that. They could be across the other side of the map. Everything's shared, and you're going to get a lot more resource, materials, and collectibles by playing this way. It allows you to split up and explore areas as a team instead of sticking together, and you're able to clear areas much faster of all of its loot. Next, I want to give a tip about buffs. While you're playing Remnant 2 and you're equipping different items and different gear and different mutators or whatnot, there's probably going to be a lot of buffs you're going to have popping up on screen and what you're taking advantage of. If at any point you want to see what buffs are currently active, you can bring up your character menu and you'll notice in the top left hand corner of the screen here all the buffs that are taking place during my encounter. So I've got a Black Cat Band cooldown there from a ring. I've got a Vengeful Strike melee damage increase off that mutator. And one thing that I needed help with here, you can see, is the Bulwark buff. I had no idea what this was. It was on a ring and it just sounded good. But in this menu, it tells me it reduces damage by 11%. And this stacks as well. That's just a great way to figure out some buffs if you're unsure and you just want to know what they do. Just go into combat, bring up the menu, and just see what's happening and what is popping up. And we are now at the end of this video. My final tip for any player playing Remnant 2 is to explore everything. There are so many secrets. There's so much going on in this game. If something does look out of place, then it's probably out of place for a reason. If you're a little bit sus on something, you're probably sus on something for a reason. Explore it. Try and figure it out. It's so much fun. And the more players explore, the more reward they're going to get. As I said earlier, one of the best things about Remnant 2 is that as you go through your playthrough, as you complete worlds, you are going to unlock worlds to play in adventure mode. And adventure mode, you can keep on re-rolling time and time again until you get instances that you want in order to collect certain items or different bosses that you want for certain items. And you're going to be using adventure mode a lot. It's a standalone mode away from your campaign. It doesn't touch your main campaign. And you can just keep on using it to collect everything in the game that you want to collect and complete every secret that you want to complete. But now this is the end of this video. I do hope there's some tips in there that you haven't came across yet. If there were, let me know down in the video comments, and also post any tips that you have for new players down in the video comments as well. I'd enjoy reading them. But we're going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and share to support, subscribe for more content, and until next time, stay safe and peace out.